guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be covering another Murder Minute mystery. I'm also going to be pulling from another app on my phone. This app is called Infamous America. So stay tuned and find out what story I'm covering today. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm covering another Murder Minute video. I'm also pulling details from another app called Infamous America. Now, I've covered it before. Murder Minute is an app that you can get on your phones. You can customize how you get your stories. You do get one story a day for free. You can determine if you want that to be a short story with not as many details, or you can get them in longer versions with all the details. And as for Infamous America, it is a different style app. It has a map of the United States, and it has different pins in the map where when you click on it, it'll tell you what that pin is for, and you can click on that title and it'll take you to a story. It'll give you a brief synopsis of the story, and then it'll give you a street view through Google Maps of that area. It'll take you to different websites that'll give you a more detailed rundown of the story. It'll also give you other videos on that story, and it'll also give you books that talk about that story. So I put those two apps together to cover this story today. So today I'm covering the Glamour Girl Slayer, aka Harvey Glatman. He was also known as the Lonely Hearts Killer. So he had two monikers. This on Murder Minute was submitted by Maggie M. So in going through everything, the span of his murders were from August the 1st, 1957 through July 13th of 1958. So in the grand scheme of things, a little less than a year. So let's talk about Harvey Glatman. Harvey Glatman was born on October the 10th of 1927. He was born in Bronx, New York, to a Jewish family. He was raised in Colorado. At the age of 12, he started showing signs of before the age of 12, he started showing signs of antisocial behavior, but at the age of 12, he started showing sadomasochistic behavior during masturbation, where he would tie a rope around his neck while he masturbated, and his mother became concerned, so she noticed the redness around his neck, so she took him to the doctor. And the doctor kind of just shook it off and stated that, quote, he would grow out of it. However, Glatman never did. At the age of 16, Glatman started breaking into homes and apartments. At these break-ins, he would force women to strip at gunpoint. Due to these crimes, Harvey Glatman received an 8-month jail sentence for these crimes, and here is his mugshot. When Harvey was released from jail, his family decided to move back to New York because they didn't want him to be labeled as a sex offender. In 1947, in Albany, New York, Glatman was arrested for mugging women. He was sentenced to 5 to 10 years in Sing Sing Correctional. While there, a psychiatrist diagnosed Glatman as a psychopath. Even with this diagnosis, Glatman was granted an early release. Now, due to the time period, there is a question about the date of the release. Some papers say it was 1956. Some papers say that it was earlier than that, but he was released for being a model prisoner. Go figure, psychopath, being a model prisoner. After his release from Sing Sing, Glatman decided to move to California. This is when his killing started. Now, in 1954, there was a killing in Boulder, Colorado. Many believe that this is Glatman's first murder. The female was never identified. She is still to this day known as the Boulder Jane Doe. But her killing kind of mimics some of Harvey's known murder victims. She was later matched with another murder victim a few years back, but her actual identity has never been verified. Once in LA, Glatman posed as a professional photographer. This was his way of getting close to women that were hoping to break into the modeling industry, and he often found women that were outside of modeling agencies. Glatman also used the Lonely Hearts ads to get close to victims. These were kind of like personal ads like this. And during this time, there were these things called Lonely Hearts Clubs that people could sign up for as like matchmaking services. All of his victims were models or lonely hearts, and Glatman would take them home, tie them up, rape them, and then strangle them. Before and after the killings of the women, Glatman would take pictures of the women. Glatman would then dispose of the bodies by burying them in the desert. So let's get to Glatman's murders. His first known victim is Judith and Dole, who was 19 years old. Here's a picture of her. Dole was a wannabe model and a pinup girl. She was estranged from her husband and was in a legal battle for their 14-month-old daughter. She received a call from a man claiming to be Johnny Glenn. Glenn was actually Glatman, and Glenn had offered to pay her $50 for pinup pictures. Dole agreed due to her need for the money. Dole was living in an apartment with two other models at the time, and Glenn picked her up from that apartment. None of the models felt threatened by the bespectacled, nondescript man. Betty Carver, one of the models that was living in the apartment, later told police, "I knew there was something odd about the man. He said he wanted to shoot pinup pictures, yet he told Judy to bring a selection of street outfits, which she did." Glenn had told Dole that he wanted to do some photos of her bound and gagged for detective magazines. Dole agreed to the arrangement, but by the time she realized what was actually going on, it was too late. Before killing Dole, Glatman took a number of pictures, and these are the actual pictures. Dole's body was later found in the desert, approximately 160 feet from the highway. Dole had went missing in August, but her body was not found until December, and it took even longer to identify her because animals had gotten to her body and had eaten away a lot of her flesh. Second known victim, Shirley Ann Bridgeford, who was 24 years old. Here's a picture. Bridgeford was a divorced mother of 2 young boys, and she had joined a Lonely Hearts Club. The service had set Bridgeford up on a date with a George Williams, also known as Glatman. Bridgeford was never seen alive again after her date with George, with the exception of some disturbing photos. Third known victim, Ruth Mikado, probably mispronouncing the last name, 24-year-old female. Here's a picture. Ruth worked as a pinup model and a stripper. Ruth's landlord became concerned when she did not return to her room for 4 days. This almost killed her dog and 2 parakeets from starvation and dehydration. Ruth was last seen with a man who had picked her up for a photo shoot. Glatman later stated that of his victims, Ruth was the only one he wanted to keep alive. But he couldn't think of a way to do so without leading to his downfall. He even was quoted as saying, "I took a lot more pictures, tried and tried to figure out a way to keep from killing her, but I couldn't come up with any answers." Now on to who was meant to be his 4th victim, Laurieann Vigil, 28 years old. Vigil was the end of Glatman's string. Glatman approached Vigil like he did all of his other victims. Gave a spill about a photo shoot. Vigil went with Glatman and did not believe there was an issue even when he was going away from Hollywood. Vigil told police, "I did not become alarmed until we entered the Santa Ana freeway and he began driving at a tremendous speed. He wouldn't answer my questions or even look at me. We eventually reached a lonely section and he turned off into a little tiny side road and stopped just off the highway. He said he thought he had a flat tire. Suddenly he pulled a gun and pointed it at me." However, Glatman underestimated Vigil because she began to fight. She grabbed for the gun while trying to get out of the door. Vigil and Glatman fell out of the vehicle onto the road, and they were wrestling around on the street as cars passed by. The gun even went off at one point. Now, one account says that it grazed her thigh. One account says that it passed close to her thigh. Either way, it came close or did do some damage to her leg. These are Vigil's wounds. After the gun went off, Vigil was able to wrestle the gun away from Glatman and hold him at gunpoint until police arrived. Glatman was arrested. Here's that newspaper clipping. Due to contradictory accounts, Glatman was either arrested on October 27th of 1958 or on October 31st of 1958. Two accounts said the 27th, two other accounts said the 31st, so one of those two dates. Once he was in police custody, Glatman did fail a polygraph test. After that, Glatman then fully confessed to slaying the three young girls and even willingly told police about his photo collection and where it was located. Here is the photo clippings of Glatman's confession. Glatman then told an officer, "I would make them kneel down. With everyone it was the same. With the gun on them, I would tie a 5-foot piece of rope around their ankles. Then I would loop it around their necks. Then I would stand there and keep pulling until they quit struggling." With all of the evidence that they needed, Glatman was found guilty, of course, and he was sentenced to death. But Glatman was only charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. He was charged with Bridgeford, and he was charged with Mercado and Bridgeford. He was not charged with Dole's murder. Glatman specifically asked the warden at San Quentin State Prison to do nothing to save his life. On September 18th of 1959, Glatman was executed via gas chamber at San Quentin State Prison. Here's a picture of what that gas chamber looked like. Glatman's execution took 12 minutes. Now, fun fact time. Dragnet, which was a 1960s TV series, it was also a movie, one of my favorite shows when I was a kid. I still like watching it now. Here is a TV poster for it. Had some elements that were loosely based on Glatman's killings. It is also believed that there was a section in the movie that was statements from Glatman's actual interrogation. So here are those statements. Let's see what you think. Suspect: "The reason I killed those girls was because they asked me to." "They did. All of them." Sergeant Friday: "They asked you to?" Suspect: "Sure. They said they'd rather be dead than be with me." I would say that kind of does sound like something somebody would say to Glatman. Glatman was killed before he could kill more, but his story actually is more of a cautionary tale. Not going places with a stranger. Don't believe everything someone tells you just because they carry around a camera or because you swiped right or you swiped left. So, with all of that said, that's going to be the end of Harvey Glatman's tale. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and ring that bell so that you're notified every single time I upload. In the comment section down below, let me know, what do you think of Harvey Glatman and his story? And in the description box, I have a few bits of housekeeping. So, the norm, I have my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, email. Also have Minds, which is my new social media website. It's free to join, and if you'd like, you can join and come find me and subscribe. My link to BitChute is over there. I'm cross-posting my videos over there so you guys can enjoy them on either platform. But I also have a Patreon account now. I don't make anything from YouTube. My platform's not big enough, but I'm wanting to upgrade things so that I can bring better quality videos to you guys. This is my passion project and I really enjoy doing it. So if you do have $1, I have like 4 Patreon tiers, but if you have $1 or so every month that you would like to see go to something that would be worthwhile, go check me out on Patreon. I'm trying to update my lighting, microphones, software, stuff like that, and it would be going to updating these videos so that you guys get better quality entertainment. Anyway guys, that is it for this video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.